We jump on live as Gunnar Stockton, Superman to the right pylon in the end zone for a touchdown. What a wild and bizarre game this has been, Georgia-Auburn. Welcome in, everybody. We've got Evan Holly rocking and rolling, carrying the thread for us. We got Cole Marie behind the scenes. Always trade back. Some of our favorites. We're still missing Haas. Where are you, Haas?
He's always late.
Yeah, you're always late. He's got other things to do. I got my main man Tate sitting right by my side.
Tate.
And Tate was slinging the rock today at the JV Cohasset football game. Got some eyes on him.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. It's been a good football weekend around the McShay house. I love it. That's what fall's all about. And we got a nor'easter coming to New England. Like, what's better?
Oh, we do. I didn't even know.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm here for you. I'm your weatherman.
Seriously.
What's your take on this game, man?
I mean, it's a tale of two halves, or really the end of the first half, things got really squirrely. First of all, what'd you think? Was it a touchdown or not?
Let me just say this. This pass play, Gunnar Stockton, yeah, it was a touchdown. 20-10 now, 153. So hopes are dashed for Auburn. But
yeah.
We'll play this out with you, and it's a good time
Need a miracle
to kind of go through what we've seen in this game. I do want to let everybody know we'll watch the end of this game with you. We'll do a reset. We'll start our reaction, watch some tape and get to the bottom of some things. I also want to mention the McShay report. We got a busy week. I'll give you all the details on that. And we're appreciative that you're here. I mean, boy, do we have a lot to cover.
A lot.
James Franklin, Cignetti, Arch, a lot of stuff. Okay. So
you thought it was a touchdown. I thought it was a touchdown too.
I thought it was a touchdown. You know what else I thought was a touchdown? I thought Auburn scored a touchdown right before the half around the 2-minute timeout. And so did Sean McDonough, and so did the rules analyst, and so did Greg McElroy, and
yeah. The you're talking about the Jackson Arnold fumble.
The Jackson Arnold fumble when he reached the ball over. And yes, I get it was close, but we had three different, we are at a point in technology in this world where you can link these things together in exact time and show that ball crossed the line. And thank goodness for I remember Ed Placey back in the day at ESPN talking to us about the pylon cam. And now it's whatever. I don't want to give a sponsorship here. But my point is, we've got enough technology. We can't miss that. And that turns into a 10-point swing, right? Because Georgia.
I mean, yeah, but then they go down the other way, and there's a clear targeting. That was clearly targeting.
Yeah, it was.
The late hit was a little touchy to me. That was a little touchy to me, especially after the call you had just made. It felt like they were reviewing everything. I felt like Georgia had 8 timeouts on that drive. Every time there was a play, it was getting reviewed.
They did.
And then they could reset. And then they weren't even running the clock, McShay, until everyone was set. Once that's a running clock, you figure it out, and then you run it when it's go time. It's not like once Georgia gets set, then we start running the clock. It was, and then I'll tell you what, whatever you want to say about those calls, and some of them are pretty tight, I get it. The Kirby Smart timeout in the second half was egregious. I don't know if you saw this, but Kirby came in and said he was clapping. He's like, no, I'm clapping. I didn't call for a timeout. 1 second left on the clock. He says, I'm not calling. They give him the timeout back. They let Georgia reset and run the play. And when you go to the replay, he's going like this.
Well, come on. I got a couple. Let me advance the conversation. It is. I get it. I do want to say a couple things, though. And I'm going to go here we are. It's 3rd and 10. Auburn's trying to, they want to try to kick a field goal, probably get an onside and throw a Hail Mary. We've seen crazier things, but not much. I want to say this. It was insane in this day and age that we allowed the final 2 minutes of game clock to become 30, almost 40 minutes of real life time, right? It just shouldn't happen. But what also drives me crazy is, and Hugh Freeze, how many times do we see a program, a team come out and they dominate a first half and something doesn't go their way at the end, and you can just sense it in the halftime interview. The kind of the whining, but saying, I can't whine, I can't complain about it. Yeah, I understand the frustration, but again, it's leadership, and
Right.
there's got to be leadership. And like, we didn't get the call we wanted there, but I feel good about this, and I'm gonna. It was like, what are you gonna talk to your team about? Like, we got to go back out and play. Like, you could sense going in, if the leader of the ship is dwelling on what just happened on the field, it's going to trickle down. Well, you come out in the second half. I saw like halfway through the fourth quarter, McDonough was going through like the game recap thing. They had like 100 over, I think it was over 100, 125, over 130 yards rushing Auburn in the first half.
Right.
No, it was 130. Because for the game at that point, then we're talking about a quarter and change. They had -5 in the second half. And so here's what I want to say about Georgia as we look at them as a number team in the 10 team in the country. Minute and 6 left. Clock is ticking down. They're winning by 10 on the road. This is a damn good Auburn football team, but it's not one of the upper echelon. I mean, this is going to be their third loss. They're going to be 3-3 after this. This defense is outstanding. Offense has moments, but is not sustainably good, you know? What I want to say is Georgia has Georgia-like resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia has proven in what I just said, that's one microcosm of look at the first half numbers versus the second half numbers offensively for Auburn. And tell me that Georgia doesn't still have the elite of elite level coaching, especially on the defensive side. So the resiliency and the coaching are there. What I don't see from this Georgia program, which again, and we'll finish the night. That's what I wanted to say earlier. We'll finish the night by going through the AP top 12 and make our adjustments and put 15 or 16 teams in our top 12 like we always do. And then we'll kind of rethink things and be more rational on Monday morning. But Georgia, while they have the resiliency and they have the coaching, what I don't see from this program is the run game and the elite defensive personnel.
Same thing we've been seeing all year. I agree with you.
It hasn't changed.
No one's emerged there. I mean, they haven't been able to run the ball consistently. I mean, it is. Yeah, I'm watching Kirby, I think, hug his son here. This is interesting. I just got to say this quickly about Auburn, though. They got screwed in the Oklahoma game, too. They lost at A&M in Oklahoma by less than a touchdown. This is a damn good team. And for this to happen, but you're right. It goes back to this. It goes back to this for sure. You can't control what the refs do, but you can control how you react. And the way they reacted was not great. It had to be better.
Yeah. I'm looking. Go ahead.
I was like the handshake at the end between the coaches. I was fascinated by the Lanning Cignetti handshake today. They didn't really show it.
So Gunnar Stockton finishes the game for Georgia as the leading rusher with 9 for 26.
I mean,
Josh McCray and Tate Frazier combined for 16 carries and 48. They each had 24 yards rushing. It's just all together. And remember, this isn't the NFL where sacks count as negative yards. All together, they had 31 carries for 79 yards rushing.
Yeah.
And so
Nate Frazier's an absolute stud. He got 10 carries, had a long of 5 tonight.
Why?
That's the whole thing. You know what? That'd be great for the Monday show. Great for the Monday show to see what's wrong with the Georgia running game. But obviously, that's a good front. I mean, Auburn's got a good front. Don't get me wrong, but like that's what you face in the SEC. It hasn't stopped them from running the ball in the past.
You got today's the 11th, so you got Ole Miss next week coming between the hedges, and then you got a bye week, and then you get the Florida Georgia game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know Florida lost to A&M today. Florida's kind of struggling, but continue to put up a good fight every week. I know that
good defense.
Tate's sitting here and he's frustrated because he's a Gators fan. And then you got Texas, who's kind of reemerging later in the season. So that's 3 more opponents, and I have to believe that the biggest priority, you can't change your personnel. It's still really good defensive personnel, but it's not like what we've seen in years past. I've got to believe a major priority is figuring out this run game, because this is not a. While the receivers, I think, like Colby Young's a good receiver, man.
Yeah, Zachariah Branch is a player too. He's a nice piece.
Is a play. He had 9, but only for 57. But anyway, I look at this Georgia team, and we'll talk through kind of the tiers right now and the way we look at it, and it changes on a week-to-week basis in college football, right? Mm-hmm. But I view Georgia, whether you want to say second or third tier, they're not in that elite group, and they're kind of middling in that next group. Maybe it's the third group if you want to really break them down. But that's how it
feels like that elite group's getting small, man. We'll get into that in the top 12. It's shrinking.
Very much so. I don't disagree. All right. I mean, that's it for the 7:30 games. We had 4 of them. We had USC, Michigan, USC with a huge win. We'll get to that in a little while.
Great win.
We had South Carolina, LSU. What was the final in that one?
I think it was 20-10.
Yeah, 20-10. LSU continuing to kind of sputter by. And then what was the Texas A&M in Florida, as I talked about. A&M pulls away in the second half. We'll talk about A&M and what I'm seeing, and I want to get your response. But I'm seeing a very different A&M than I'm used to in my lifetime, and that's a good thing if you're an Aggies fan. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like you got your North Face hat on. It's fall. We got a nor'easter. We got a nor'easter coming. I got to send Tate to bed at some point. He's 11 years old, but it feels like the right time to shift this thing over. We appreciate everyone who's here. We'll get to some responses and the conversation in the live chat. It's growing by the minute, and I love it. This is it. Bud, you know, we only have 194 days.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm already
until the NFL draft. Muench, you good?
I was.
One time now, Tuck.
Good night, Tate.
Boy. Good night, Tate. Here we are. I'm fired up. Man, we got a lot to get to.
Yeah, anything happened today?
Oh, holy smokes. I mean, look at all these notes. I've got them everywhere. All right. I want to start with this. The best things we saw today. Let's get right into it.
Let's get into
it. We'll get to all the football stuff in a second, but this is the best stuff we saw today. I know Evan Hawley and Cole Marie always trade back. They're ready to go. Joel Anderson's fired up. Jeremy Godden, number 2 tonight with the crown hat on him. Jeremy Godden is really he's getting this thing going.
Evan Hawley with the Tucker shout out.
There's a Todd McMichigan man who's number 3. We get some fresh blood in here tonight. I like this. But we got 3 things, the best things we've seen today. Let's start. This is Muench. Of course, Muench is going to add this to the situation, the best things we saw today. The thicker, we'll call him. The thick kicker.
Yeah, you know,
talk to me about it. Yeah, this is all you.
Look, man, it's just another example of a big man being an athlete. You know, just there's so many things we can do. Everyone wants to talk about Travis Hunter, but no one wants to talk about Carson Rhodes. You know, we can play offensive line and kick off in an emergency. You know what I mean? Like it's like Caden Proctor playing Wildcat quarterback today. The disrespect of the offensive linemen have received in the past of these just massive athletes, I think has to come to an end. And it's stuff like this that will help us one day.
And while I love everyone, our chat just doubled in size. And I love everyone who's here with us live. And I love everyone who's watching us on YouTube. But we also have an audio audience that's watching this on Sunday morning, Sunday throughout the day, and even into Monday. And we appreciate those folks just as much. And so I want to explain to you, this was the 4th
I got to be better there.
Throw it back up, Tucker, would you please? This is the 4th string kicker named Carson Rhodes. And he's listed like in the bottom left corner is we're seeing a picture of number 67 at 6'8", 310 pounds, a freshman from Nevada. It says underneath 4th string kicker. They were down to their emergency kicker on kickoffs. I want to know, Iowa State. 2 things I've got to know. If anyone was around that Cyclones program, please get this information back to me. First of all, how in the world did we get down to our 4th string kicker?
Right. Not
And
good.
secondly, at what point in practice did we open things up and even allow a freshman at 6'8", 300 plus pounds to do it? I think
If that's the
beautiful.
way they went, I wonder if they, called timeout or got everyone huddled at halftime and said, "Can anyone kick? Like we're out of bodies like this." And Carson sitting there, I did it in high school. Let's go.
Yeah. I was the thicker in high school.
The thicker. That's such a good term.
All right, this next one I love. Oklahoma State, not a lot. We already fired our coach. We're at a crossroads. But this says Oklahoma State may have lost again, but this is a W. You watch this crowd. It started with one man, shirt off. They created a new student section, and it went from one man in this miserable Oklahoma State situation to a massive crowd. Everyone shirtless, the whole section going nuts, shaking their shirts in the air, and it just became their thing. Like if you're gonna be there on a hot Saturday afternoon, right?
Yeah.
Still in Stillwater, Oklahoma in October, you might as well have some fun with it. So I appreciate all those folks.
It's great. It's the best. One of the best things you can be as a fan is to be excited like that. It's awesome.
And then my last one. This like. I usually get like a smile, sometimes to some of these things. This one, I found myself watching it on repeat and not laughing necessarily Penn State fans I'm not laughing at the subject matter, but just the way this was done and produced in Dakar with a man just crying, laughing. Throw it on top. It says Cignetti has more top 10 wins in a month at Indiana than James Franklin has in 10 years.
He's crying.
There's a man in his car who's falling backwards and honking his horn, falling into his pedal and brake. Oh. Not laughing at you. Certainly not laughing with you. Just laughing. Laughing. You know what? I was going to start with Texas OU, but let's just transition right into it.
Okay.
Selfish leadership can work for a long time. Did you ever watch Hunt for Red October?
Oh, yeah. Love that movie.
Gene Hackman's role, God rest his soul.
Yep.
Gene Hackman was a very effective leader for a long time in that ship, in that submarine, right?
Yeah.
And it worked. And it was a dictatorship, and it was his way, and it was his messaging. And it was the things that he said that spoke for the program. And it didn't matter if it was for selfish reasoning. The messaging was about the way he viewed the leadership and how things should run inside that vessel. But at some point with selfish leadership, Steve, what happens is something doesn't go right. And mutinies happen in different fashions and forms. On that boat, you can go watch the 3.5-hour movie or whatever it is, and you can see for yourself how it manifested, how it grew over time, and what the end result was. At Penn State, selfish leadership by James Franklin. You bring in really good offensive and defensive coordinators, and you replace a Tom Allen, who's a very well-respected defensive coordinator, who goes to Clemson. You bring in Jim Knowles to try to upgrade from the national championship Ohio State Buckeyes from a year ago. You bring in different offensive coordinators. All those things can change. They're truly running the operation of the offense and the defense, while one man is overseeing the business. He's the CEO. You have an unbelievable backing. One of the greatest in all of college football. Just watch the whiteouts.
Yep.
And it would be I can't overlook the fact that what he inherited, James Franklin, was a program in despair. And yes, and Coach O'Brien was there for a minute, but like there were some major
turmoil.
pieces. There was some major turmoil, unlike anything we've ever seen before, and hopefully we never see again. Okay?
Correct.
So, and it takes a certain kind of leadership to kind of forge on, and let's put a barricade around. And the messaging that comes out here is going to speak for Penn State. And this is how it is. And I am the man at the top, and that's how it is just about every college football program, and it's how it should be. There should be one voice at the top. But selfish leadership always gets found out. And when things don't go right, steady, consistent, fair leadership, those sort, like the right kind of leadership. I've got this. I keep this quote on my desk, and I didn't plan on doing this, but it's here every single day. Mac Brown and I were having a conversation, and he said to me, and I wish I could do his voice better. At certain times in my life, I could. He was saying to me on the phone one day, Todd, I'm an old man, but life is simple. This is him as a head coach, national championship winner at Texas. I'm not saying he's the perfect leader. I'm not saying he's the only leader. I'm just saying this is one
Hell of a
example.
coach.
Hell of a coach. I'm an old man, but life is simple. Be fair, be consistent, and do the right thing. And he went on to talk to me about what the right thing is by your players, for your program, for everyone in your program. And oftentimes the right thing maybe isn't the best thing for you. Maybe doesn't make you the shining beacon all the time. Maybe it's about self-sacrifice. There's a lot of different. I graduated from the Jepson School of Leadership. Does that make me any better than leadership coming out of University of Richmond than somebody else? No, but I know different forms of it. I had to learn it as part of a major in a program. So when I tell you selfish leadership eventually gets found out, and it gets found out in different forms, and there could be a mutiny on a ship, or when things don't go the way they're supposed to, even though everything worked for you. Yes, you lost Tyler Warren. Yes, you lost Abdul Carter. They're kind of generational college talents at their respective positions. I understand that. But your quarterback came back, and you decided that quarterback was better than Pribula. Bo Pribula. Thank you. Gosh.
Yeah.
You decided that as an organization, and that's okay, but that's what you decided. And more importantly, you got your best two running backs back. You got a pretty much a veteran offensive line back. You had all those players come back on the defensive side. You chose Jim Knowles. You chose Andy at the offensive coordinator position. You made these decisions. Things start to not go right, and you lose that one game. Players aren't stupid, man, even when they're 18 to 22 years old. When they hear you come out and make excuse, I said it the second it happened, bud. You and I were sitting right here just a few weeks ago. I said, this doesn't fly. Anyone who sat in a locker room, this doesn't fly. When you start making excuses for travel, and more importantly, like a few players were injured and we didn't recover, that's the part that got the players. I'm convinced. We didn't bounce back and then say the requisite answer of, but at the end of the day, it's my responsibility. I'll take responsibility. Kind of like I have to say I'll take responsibility.
Yeah, the PR.
But everyone knows that you don't. And so what's the result? Now a 3-game skid. You lose to a program in UCLA. God bless them for what they're doing and put it together and all of that. But you can throw your helmets out there. And then much worse, because there ain't the travel. There ain't the 1-week injury thing. There ain't the hangover from a week before.
Yeah, you need a win.
This is like backs against the wall. And if you, as a leader, are fair, are consistent, and you're doing the right thing day in and day out, this is not the response you're getting from a bunch of guys that are all going to go on to play in the NFL because they're that talented. I don't even say no disrespect to Northwestern, because I am disrespecting Northwestern, and I'm here to admit it.
Come on, man.
there's no comparison in talent from one to the other.
No.
So with all of that said, I want to say two things. I think now leadership above the head football coach at Penn State needs to step in. They need to step in because it's what's right for these players. Let these players go play free for the last 8 games of their careers in some cases. Let these guys see new leadership, and let the program, the players in the program and the people working hard every single day in the program see that there's leadership above the leadership that they've had to answer to, that's been selfish leadership for so long, that's going to step in and say, you know what, we know what's going on here isn't right, and we're going to fix it now, even though it's not going to save this season.
Right.
It's good for recruiting, and you could get started on the next head coaching and all of that stuff. But to me, this is about the players now. And there are some players in that locker room, don't get this twisted, that are going to have to answer some really tough questions when it comes to the NFL draft, when they start talking to scouts and sit down in those meetings in Mobile, Alabama, or at the East-West Shrine game, and especially at the Combine and the one-on-one meetings and all those things. What the hell happened?
Right.
He didn't go on the field with you.
Yes, you are responsible for your own tape too, man. You're responsible for your own play, and that's going to be a thing that comes in.
So I'm not giving anyone a pass here. I'm just saying this is what happened. I've been warning people about this for a while.
I know.
It came to fruition
before this year.
I'm not going to. Yes, before this year, and I'm not going to shut up now. But I'm also not going to beat a dead horse. But I'm telling, if anyone at Penn State has the ear of anyone of the top 2 or 3 people, or whatever committee or group it is that helps guide this decision, fire James Franklin tonight.
Yeah.
Don't let him back in the building next week. Don't let this drag out. It's not fair to these young men who have worked their asses off for this school and for everybody else around it. So that's my first thing. And then my
really
second
quickly,
thing
let me just say this to back up what you're saying. The way I see it is they need to hit the release on that pressure valve. And the only way you're going to do that is by severing your ties with James Franklin, because then those kids are no longer feel like they're fighting for this coach, which I think is really misguided at this point. You know, there might be players on that team who are thinking to themselves, and God bless them, if we play better, I can save my coach's job, or I can do this, or I can do that. And the reality is, I just don't. Maybe I'm crazy. I just don't see any scenario where James Franklin, even if he wins out, is somehow able to keep that job. It's just that bad now. And I don't see them winning out. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. So hit the release valve and let these kids understand like what the situation is, so they don't feel like they're playing for something that maybe they're not playing for anymore.
And I do think it's important for us to note, as guys who cover the NFL draft and kind of the home base for what we do, that Drew Aller, it was, I guess you get
brutal.
to this point. Drew Aller is lost for the season. James Franklin announced that at the press conference right after the game. I guess you get to this point in the situation, and then you start kind of second guessing and like, why did we have to announce that? Does that make him, is that allow? And maybe I'm totally off base, and it really has nothing to do with anything I'm saying. But even when I see him come out in the post-game press conference to like, does that distract what's really going on a little bit? Does that allow him to say, well, I got fired in the year where I lost my starting quarterback who's going to be drafted and all this sort of, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I feel terrible for Drew Aller. And while I don't think his tape's as good as some other NFL scouts I talked to, and some other people who, you know, are part of the national and Blesto lists in the preseason, all those sorts of things, and some other analysts from different networks and all of that, I don't view him as highly as everyone else does. It seems.
Yeah.
I still respect the hell out of the young man.
Yeah, and he's also a young man that needed to be, and we'll see. It seems like it was serious. It seems like it's a serious injury, and he's a person who needs to be at the Senior Bowl or the East-West game. He needs to be as involved in that pre-draft process as possible. And if this is something that prevents him from doing that, I mean, it's just brutal to have that kind of a year and then not be able to go down there or to one of these all-star games and really show what you can do, maybe in a different different
And
situation.
I don't think there's, and I don't know, and we'll get more information. I saw even like Schefter
right. I don't know either.
I don't know if there's a potential for him to maybe get some sort of medical red shirt from the NCAA, or
I saw something from Pete Thamel on X that suggests that he can't, but I don't know if you can petition that. I don't know.
A petition is what I'm. Yeah, currently is not eligible, and obviously has played beyond 4 games. So like the standard eligibility is lost in terms of coming back. But I don't know if there's some sort of petition or if he's even interested in doing so. But that's something we'll obviously follow closely moving forward. But I do want to stay on this, and I'm going to put the cart before the horse here, and I'm okay with it. And I will let you know right now when I'm done making this quick statement and mention I talk about it, we will transition into Indiana, Oregon, and then we'll come back to Texas OU. Okay, it's just how this thing's laying out. Okay. Coach Cignetti, Curt Cignetti, when he took the Indiana job, I want you to know this. Indiana averaged 4.1 victories a season in the 30 years prior to the arrival of Curt Cignetti. IU for 3 decades was winning 4.1 games per season. He's now 17-2. He's now 17-2 at Indiana. Okay. And the only losses came to Ohio State and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And then I saw the resumes. He's up there with the Ryan Days, the Urban Meyers, the Nick Sabans, the elite of the elite in this industry in terms of winning percentage in college. And yes, some of it was at James Madison and what was it, IUP before.
But I just want to say something about the James Madison thing. They went from the FCS to the FBS and were competitive immediately. So like I know that they made a big jump in competition, and he even showed at that level, going from one level to the next, that he was no joke. Like right away, JMU was competitive.
But you know what I needed to see from Cignetti? What I saw today.
Yeah.
I needed to see it, and not only to beat in Oregon, a top 4 team in the country, what were they ranked? 3 coming in?
Yes.
A top 3 team in the country, but to do it at their place in front of that crowd in that stadium with game day, like all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now they went from the lovable team that we all kind of knew. Anyone who really studied the tape knew they are good, and they're one of the best coach teams you'll ever see. And they're this, they're that, and the other thing. But they went in and won. They didn't win because of some hired gun. We'll get to this game in a minute. They won because of the program, and the program is run. Indiana is run by a leader who believes, like at his core, like deep in his soul, in what he's doing, and isn't afraid to tell you sometimes. And I'm telling you, he's a different cat, and he's not for everybody.
Yeah, he is.
And we know people who have worked with him and around him and all that stuff who are like, you learn to love him, but my gosh, there's a curve because he's so different than everybody else. And like the shucks or the this, or like there's certain kinds of leaderships that we're used to seeing from high level college football coaches. He's not any of that. So it's a new ride for all of us to get to kind of know who this cat is. But Curt Cignetti is a winner, and his program, and he gets the buy-in. And so what I'm telling you here is, if I'm Penn State and I'm the people at the very top, I'm firing James Franklin in the next 24 to 48 hours. And I am making my only priority until it's absolute, until there's no more brush fires out there, until I've tried every single different way. And if it becomes extinguished, then it's extinguished and you move on. I am bringing in Curt Cignetti. And I also know this on good authority. And there's some things I tell you that I can't tell you where they come from. And I'm not trying to start stuff up. I'm just saying, I don't think he wants to leave Indiana. I think he's thrilled with Indiana. I think he wants to take this Indiana program and shove it up everyone's ass. I think that's just in his I do. I think that's part of his DNA, Mensch.
It's awesome. I know I hear you.
I think he is IU to his core, from they gave him a chance, and he's going to.
they identify with one another. They're both the programs that were like overlooked, the coach that was overlooked. I think, yeah, I hear you.
But we all have a weakness. We all have, there's a certain sweet out there. There's a drug. There's an alcohol. There's whatever. I could go on and get myself.
Everyone's got one. Yep.
Everyone's got it, and Penn State might be. So I'm exploring.
Might be Cignetti's weakness. Is what you're saying.
Correct.
Yeah.
It might be his soft spot.
I hear you. I think you're right. I think anyone.
Oh, I don't think I'm right.
Well, I think you're right. I think any program that has an opening at a Penn State level should be looking into Cignetti. Like that's a no-brainer to me. I do feel bad for the Indiana fans tonight who have to listen to you talk about this, though.
So my other
they
advice,
can't even enjoy it for a night, McShay.
So my other advice is, like, if I'm Indiana, folks, this program is going to make you so much damn money.
Yeah,
pay him, give him whatever he wants. Because remember, like the Bobby Knight stuff, and I know this is in Indiana and French Lick and Larry Bird and all the stuff and the grass basketball courts and the shitty hoops.
I love it.
But you can be this too. And this makes mo money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you could have a ride with this guy for a couple of decades.
Dude, Aiden Fisher, the linebacker, talented linebacker, was in the post-game press conference saying, "This is why you come to Indiana." That is so alien to me. Alien. The idea that an Indiana football player is talking about this is why you come to Indiana is to go to beat Oregon on the road. I mean, but that's how they see it. And it's not only that's how they see it. They believed in it before any of us. I can speak for myself before I believed it, but they've backed it all up. They've backed it all up, man. That was so impressive today. I'm guessing we're going to get into it more.
Let's get into it now.
Can I just bring up?
Yeah.
I just want to say that we talk a lot about Will Stein, the offense coordinator at Oregon, and he's awesome, and I love him. And we'll talk about that he's going to have better days than he did today. Mm-hmm. The defensive coordinator, Brian Haynes from Indiana. I did not realize this. You talk about what Indiana is doing. Indiana is investing in this program.
No, I know.
Haynes could have been out the door this past offseason. They had to extend his contract not once, but twice. They went to him December, redid his contract, and then they were like, well, he's still getting a ton of attention. So they had to redo his contract again. That's how talented this guy. Another guy that came from the JMU tree, followed them up from Indiana. Just unbelievable how good he was today. To only allow 13 points to that Oregon offense at Oregon, because remember they had the pick 6. So it looks like Oregon had 20, but they only had 13 offensive points. I mean, Kenyon Sadiq was a non-factor today. Just a non-factor. They made Dante Moore look. Dante Moore, I think, is an outstanding quarterback. They made him look average today. You had better stay on schedule against that defense, because if you get behind the sticks, they're going to heat your ass up. They're going to dial it up, and you are in real trouble.
Why is it that everyone – that's interesting. I just saw we put up a poll. Will James Franklin be coaching Penn State next week? And it's 56%. 191 votes.
They don't think Penn State has – they don't think Penn State has the balls to do it.
Really?
Penn State, why is he still there now? I mean, well, I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't have.
Shouldn't he be gone by now?
This isn't the show. Like call Thamel. I don't need to do. There's plenty of information.
Yeah. What's the buyout?
I keep hearing like 50, 75 million. I keep hearing like they both need to come to the table and do some sort of like buyout, negotiation.
Do you think he wants out at this point? He looked pretty defeated in that press conference, man.
But when you're a selfish leader and this is about you, you can't scatter fast enough from something like this.
Dude, that's so harsh. But I hear you. Scatter. That's a tough word, man. But I hear you.
Because you see rats scattered, like little, yeah. And so
Timothy Hart doesn't think Penn State has the onions. They don't have the onions.
We're going to find out. Yeah. So that's a one way to start the show.
Yeah. Also, but let's
get in the game, right? Let's get into IU.
Yeah, because they deserve their flowers, man. I mean, this Indiana team is freaking for real. I can't wait to talk at the end of the show where they are.
A couple things stood out to me, and then I want to get you take it wherever you want to respond. First is this team a year ago was disciplined, and like we always talked about, hat on hat blocking and like gap sound, and like they did all the right things, and for at a level that you normally don't see even in college, and they did it on both sides of the ball. And their receivers are where they're supposed to be, and they make tough catches. And it's things that you practice, and it's things that you grind your players through so that when they're in those moments, in the biggest moments, when you need a 3rd and 7, and you got receivers who are selfless enough to go over the middle and make the tough catches and take the hit, they'll do it. When you're in those big moments and you got to run the football and you got to pick up 2 or 3 yards, they know exactly their angles, they know exactly their technique, and they're working 5 guys together instead of one and 2 and all that. But the difference is, and I noticed this today for probably the first time because I trusted my eyes watching it, they're just more physically gifted and physical. They're like, when they meet at the point of attack, there's a bigger crack or a thump. When they need to pick up 2 yards, they're getting the push, and they're not just creating a little, like they're better than they were a year ago. And I'm talking trench stuff.
Yeah.
The second thing, like I expected today to be this quarterback resurgence. I started the whole year with it. We're in the golden era of college quarterbacks, and we're blessed to be alive. And it's been a nightmare, from Arch to the Nussmeier injury to Sellers injury to Aller kind of doing what we expected he might do, but not to this level, to all across the board. But Mendoza was still doing his really good stuff at IU. And Dante Moore came out of nowhere, and he could be number 1 overall draft pick. And so I'm watching this game today, and the game had almost, Steve, Indiana, Oregon, top 10 teams, head-to-head, this mega battle, rivaling OU Texas at 3:30, right?
Yep.
Almost had nothing to do with the quarterbacks.
Not
really, but compared to what you would think, with everyone in the media is telling you, number 1 draft pick, right? He's ready right now. He's my number 1 guy. I had him in September. No, I had him in 2023 in the 5 horrible starts at UCLA, right? It's a race of the, what do you call them? The Twitter, the draft, what do you call them?
Twitter Mafia.
The Twitter Mafia, right? So it's the X Mafia now. And on the other side, it's gone from, Mendoza's an intriguing day 2 prospect is where we left it coming into the year. And I don't think you've seen this massive change in his game where you're like, oh, he could be number 1 overall, to where I'm watching McAfee and McAfee doesn't just say stuff. I hope, McAfee, if he says it, he's getting it from somewhere, whether it's a source inside the league. When it comes to something like this, I've learned, for all the WWE and the and all the rip shirt, all the nonsense.
He knows the stuff.
The reason that's the biggest show in the world is because he when they get to the core of what they're talking about certain things, they get it from someone they trust and they know it's real. Now he's talking about number 1 overall. And I'm not saying I'm going to him for sources, but I'm just saying, I've heard it a lot of different places. So now it's going mega media. Mendoza number 1 overall. But I'm watching this game, and it's, I love Surratt. Elijah Surratt had an awesome day. What did he finish with? I
think 8 for 1 something. I got it right here. It was 8 for 121 and a touchdown.
He had an awesome day. And
Cooper had a solid day, 7 for 58.
There are my notes. I was going up the other side. Okay. Yes. And so, and those guys are really good players. They really are. Mm-hmm. Coming into the day, they had 53 catches, 820 and 12 touchdowns combined. And Surratt is your X. He's a big physical possession receiver, right? Runs good routes, reliable, does a lot of his stuff on the outside. He'll come over, he'll do some of that, but he really handles the perimeter, really good along the sideline, all those sorts of things. And then you get this
big
Omar
body
Cooper,
guy, yep.
Big body guy. Then Omar Cooper's 6 foot, probably 5'11" and change, around 200, 205. but he's got some more juice, averaging 18.6, I think it was, coming into today. He didn't have the biggest game. I have 7 for 58, so those numbers will come down in yards per catch. But my point is, like, they complement each other well. They're the most underrated wide receiver tandem in college football in my eyes.
Because they play for Indiana, and no one's seeing it yet.
Because they, right?
Yeah, we said it going in. They got playmakers, man.
Yes, and they do the little things, and then the backs come in and they rotate them, and they had 2 good backs a year, but just everyone's doing their job at a high level, and there's a confidence and there's a belief.
Yeah. I thought, what was interesting to me was the end of the first half I think this gets overlooked in this game a little bit, where the Oregon kicker Sappington missed a chippy, and Indiana went down, and the kid Frankie hit a 50-yard field goal to put Indiana up 3 at the half. Yeah. And it just felt like a bigger moment. It felt like, wow, if Indiana goes into that half tied, I'm not sure they have any kind of confidence issues, but I do wonder if there was a part of Oregon that went in and was like, man, we got a game. We're down 3 now. Like, we thought we were going in up 3. Our kicker misses a chippy. This kid hits a 58-yard field goal. I think Indiana didn't score on the first drive, but I'm pretty sure they got the ball back on the kickoff. And then, I mean, to me, that seemed like a kind of a shift in the game a little bit. And then again, you look at the offensive numbers for Indiana. They're good. They're not great. I mean, they didn't run the ball all that well. They averaged, what was it, 3 yards per carry? So it wasn't like they were lighting the world on, but it's just great complementary football. It's about making plays when you need to make plays. You can be frustrated all day. You can be banging your head against the wall. You're not putting up points the way you want to be. You can be inconsistent. All of those things can happen. But if you make plays at the right time and you're willing to just keep sticking it out and doing what you're coached and what you're taught and what you believe in the game plan, which I do think Oregon does really well in most games, which is interesting. I think both of these guys are very different coaches, but both excellent coaches. But Indiana just stuck to the plan, man. Play great defense, get some, opportunistic scoring, and you, at the end of the day, make more plays when they matter more.
My favorite comment on our live chat, which keeps growing, and we appreciate, like, this is the best part of the week. It was Saints Chair saying, "Oh no, car charger not working." We've all been there. Keep your eye on the road. Keep your eye on the road. But
I like the love you, Mensch, but we need to talk sellers ASAP. We'll get to him. We'll get to him.
We got more tape to watch, unfortunately, on Sunday, and throughout.
Yeah, we do.
We're not going to, but like, Nussmeier ain't right, but he's grinding. Sellers, we'll get to that. We got Mendoza. Let's get to Mendoza.
Let's talk about Mendoza.
And I do want to watch the tape. But Mendoza, I thought, made a handful of really good throws.
That's his game, man. He's unbelievable throws. He can make some really nice throws.
And he's got some mobility, and there's some things that you like about his game. And I here's the problem I have, right? I still like him the way I liked him coming into the year, maybe slightly even better.
Agree.
But I can't stamp number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL draft on this guy, who maybe he's got another year still of eligibility after this, right?
I think he does.
I kind of want to see him back at IU next year.
Yeah.
With IU fans, hear me, with Coach Cignetti. Okay. Because I love what's brewing there in Bloomington.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I want to get to Jerry DiNardo's restaurant. I see everyone talking about restaurant places, and it used to just be Steak and Shake, and now we're growing. Well, DiNardo's got an Italian joint there, and I'm a sucker. We talk about weaknesses, sucker for Italian food. You can see it on my cheeks, Mensch. But
Mendoza today was 20 for 31, 215 yards, average 6.9 yards, completion. Like, he's not lighting the world on fire like I think some people think he is. The Illinois game is outrageous. That tape is outrageous. But he's come back down to earth. I mean, he is, all these numbers I see them putting up about his numbers. I'm like, yeah, most of that's from the Illinois game, like and the Indiana State game. Those are two monster games for him, and good for him. But this is, kind of what he is. He's a great. Can I just say this? It kind of tell me if I'm off on this one. He's kind of giving me Kirk Cousins vibes. I'm getting Kirk Cousins vibes. Did you really?
The world. I want two things. Let me. I promise you.
I'm not sure that's a bad thing, by the way.
Hold on. We will get to this because I want to finish the conversation on this because I know it's been eating at you and I know you well enough. And if you guys want to get to know Muench, like really get to know him, hang around for the next 3 minutes, okay? I do want to say one of the things, there are a couple things on tape. We'll get to the other stuff. On tape, and I forget who was calling it today. It might have been it was the CBS group. The Oregon's, I guess, or one of the Oregon coaches, like, there's going to be a Mendoza, like, we're going to bait him into having like a Mendoza moment, and it's real. It's throwing off his back foot. It's getting confused with his first read. Panic starts to set in. He just offers up too many. And this is the thing. I'm convinced this is why Cignetti didn't want him going down to Manning Passing Academy this summer. This is why he wanted him around. This is why he wanted to isolate him and get him like breathing and ingesting every single call, every read, and like in his system. Because this young man has a lot of those moments in him where he is talented. He is 6'4". He is 220 pounds. He is mobile. He can create. He does have a live arm. He's got all these great things. But when you go from high school and when Arch has dealt with a lot of this stuff too this year, when in high school, those tools, nothing challenges you. And then you get to Cal and you're in a really quarterback-friendly system. But when you have 5-6 turnover-worthy plays or critical mistakes or mental errors, however you want to look at it, a game, it's not enough to sustain success over time. And it's certainly not enough to do it at the NFL level. And so Cignetti has worked with him and this coaching staff for Indiana to try to cut down on these chances for him to go into old Mendoza mode, whatever they call it there in the building, okay? And today, and I'm looking at my notes, it was a very specific point in there, but he has that moment where he comes out and back foot throw. It's still his flaw. One careless moment can throw everything away. But then what happened was, and this is the encouraging part. I forget the exact moment that interception was, but you go back and everyone kind of knows. But then Indiana drives 75 yards. And like 7 plays later and a touchdown, whatever it was, or 12 plays.
Yeah.
It was 7
when they needed it.
5. But not only when they needed it, it was after that interception. Defense gets the ball back, get the ball to Mendoza. I always look at how does he respond?
Right.
Because you're in Autzen and it's loud and that's a tough place. And you get those beasts, Bear Alexander and
Amari Washington,
Amari. I always mispronounce it because it's but Washington, and you got all these dudes up front coming. So like, how are you going to respond? And he responded really. So that's another step in his development.
And he did that against Iowa too. He deserves a lot of credit for that. He had a late pick against Iowa and made the play that won the game against Iowa.
So he's got some like Kuyan, some Anyanza, some Anyanza in there, right? But then he goes to the post-game press conference, and now Muench has got red flags coming out of the woodwork.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
Just Kirk Cousins vibes, man. Like super, it's not a bad thing. I don't think Kirk Cousins was an outstanding leader coming out of Michigan State. And I feel like we're going to say the same thing about Mendoza. I really do. But it's a super positive, excited kind of, like you like that kind of a vibe from him.
Oh, totally.
After the game. And maybe that's I'm reaching. Maybe I am reaching. This was just my. I didn't think we were going to do this.
Oh shucks!
I thought I texted. Yeah,
grew up in. I'm going to help you through it. Oh shucks! I grew up in Middle America in the 1950s and 60s.
We handled this fantastically. He said after the game, and I was like, oh okay, that's okay, all right.
And that's the kind of thing that gets under Muench, who's a grizzly beard offensive lineman. New Hampshire, from Andover, from Massachusetts, like that. His senses pop up when he finds an aw shucks guy.
Yeah, I kind of really I kind of do. It does.
Fair.
But I want to be big picture here. I want to say this. I liked Mendoza coming into the year. I told you when I watched him at Cal, I was like, watch out, this kid can do great things at Indiana, great fit for the scheme. I think he's going to be an early round draft pick when he does come out, where that is. I just feel like the hype train's getting away. I feel like the hype train's rolling down the tracks, and really, I can't wait for the quarterback show this week. And I know the McShay report's coming out with the quarterback rankings, and I can't wait for us to talk about that.
Could I have picked a worse week?
No.
To update my quarterback rankings?
Because I want to see what you got. There's been so much turmoil and chaos in that group.
Oh, you're getting some stuff here. I mean, you get the guys on. You're getting the guys, and thanks Evan Hawley for realizing I said Anyanza, making up my own words. But one's like, hey, bud, Kirk Cousins has been a top 10. John Wernicke saying Cousins has been a top 10 most of his NFL career. Basically, who cares, Mench? And then I get other guys saying,
did I not say you like that, or what did I say?
Did I say Gene Hackman? I didn't say Crimson Tide. What did I say? Hunt for Red October. Yeah, Crimson Tide. Sorry, I did that whole thing.
The chat's really turning on us.
No. But then the Indiana kid said Mendoza's a dork, but gave a heart sign. So like
Michael Villa, church camp vibes
now you got this.
Is an A1 comment.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. I don't think Kirk Cousins is a bad quarterback either. I hear that. I don't think he's the guy you would have taken first overall or the quarterback you think you're going to get when you draft someone first overall. There's a lot of bust there. I understand that, but
and we'll get to Dante Moore. I mean, it's an opportunity this week when we do the quarterback rankings. Do you want to know why you guys get so mad at me when I'm like, just chill? It's okay, just chill. It's okay for Nussmeier not to, like, the Twitter mafia racing to their thumbs to their phones, trying to get out that I liked him in week 4. No, I liked him in week 3. No, I liked him in August. Well, shit, he didn't even start until this year, but I liked him before he started.
Right.
And the Dante Moore stuff, like, I find like I had to come out and explain, like, I'm telling you, this guy, yeah, maybe he is number 1 overall pick this year, but I've said it with Sellers. I said it with Arch back in May to the highest degree, like stop. I said it with Sellers, and now I said it with Dante Moore. And it's not because I don't see the talent. Dante Moore is the most talented quarterback. He's the most talented passer of the football, probably in the entire country. He makes throws and he does it calmly and he maneuvers and he does all those sorts of things. But you want to know why I say just everyone relax? Let him get the amount of starts of Jaden Daniels or a Bo Nix and then see what we got on our hands, because it could be pretty fucking special.
Yep.
But if we start rushing these young men into something that they're not ready for yet, not their own fault, but because of circumstance and game experience and the critical matter. Today we got to see Dante Moore. He's still the same special talent, still throws the ball the same way he did, still calm in pressure moments, all those amazing traits that are going to take him really far and make him a rich, rich man. And his kids are going to be rich and his grandkids are going to be rich. And if they invest well and do some sort of like diamond trust, they might be generational money for Dante Moore and his whole family. But we saw today why he's not ready.
Yeah.
And we saw it. You started this whole conversation. Defensive coordinator, Indiana. What's his name?
Brian Haynes.
How good was he?
Brian Haynes. I mean, he was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And how good have we talked about Will Stein is? Unbelievable.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
And we saw that one point when they had the little faux rollout to the right. And he created that open seam route with the safety eyes in the backfield peeking. Dante Moore throws to a wide open receiver, touchdown. That's how good Will Stein is.
Right.
Will Stein got him in tempo for those 3 plays, and it was bang, 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 touchdown. Stein drew that up. He had that prepared, had it in his bag, pulled it out at the right moment, goes for 6. So
Yeah.
we're talking two great defensive coordinators, and we're talking about a great quarterback. But we saw against a defensive coordinator that is at a high, high level, just that little bit of, should I, and the pressure looks and the coverage shifts. And we saw today that inexperience, and that's okay. And you know what? He'll go back to the tape with Will Stein, and he'll learn from this, and he'll keep getting better. And I don't know, you could pull up Oregon's record, but like when he gets into bigger moments down the road, there won't be as much as this. And it's just a progression. And Oregon's
I'm still high on the Ducks,
team.
man.
I was just saying, Oregon's an awesome team.
I think this might be
punched in the face by a team that I think all of us finally today. It's 12 so it was October 11th of 2025. We finally realized, oh shit, Indiana's for real.
Yeah, apologies to Cignetti. Apologies to the Indiana football program.
I don't apologize for last year. They weren't this
the Indiana
last
players.
Year. They were not this last year.
They weren't.
But you started to wonder, well, Illinois' got all these injuries, and Illinois is a paper, not even tiger, but like talking about them as top 15 and up to 9th in the ranking. They weren't a top 10 team. And then they had all those defensive. And so Mendoza picked them apart with 21 of 23. But this team is real. And he ran into Dante Moore, and by the way, I said it too when I went back and studied his tape. They missed the other wide receiver who got injured, Evan Stewart tremendously. And I'm in love with DeCorian Moore, number one, true freshman. But they need another guy, and they didn't have that. So they'll keep getting better. But Oregon's one of the best 7-8 teams in the country, I still believe. It's just I don't think you can get past 3 in the rankings without putting Indiana in there. I think Indiana's number 3 team. We'll get to that later. All right. Anything else on Indiana, Oregon before we move on to Texas OU?
Again, I think hats off to Indiana. They deserve everything that they're getting right now. I will say that this is the game. I wouldn't call it Ohio State's Michigan game last year, but this is a game that we could look back in December and January and be like, that game maybe wasn't the worst thing that happened to this Oregon team.
Why? How?
I think that Will Stein's going to go back and look at this tape and say there was things that were working that we got away from, and there were things that we could exploit. I think defensively, there's things that they could do a little bit differently too. It's one of those things of understanding that you can't slip. Oregon it was one of those things last year where Oregon was perfect until they weren't, right? That Oregon team was awesome until they met Ohio State after the bye in the playoffs and then looked very normal. This year, you get that loss earlier, get that loss against a very talented Indiana team, and you can look yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, we're a flawed football team, and this is what we need to work on, and this is what we need to fix. And I think that's an opportunity for your team to grow.
Yeah. You want to talk about growth? Arch Manning is a different human being.
How about that segue? Let's go.
Arch Manning is a different human being from the guy who looked like he was mentally paralyzed in the first few weeks, and it started obviously with that Ohio State game. He was paralyzed not because of he was paralyzed because I don't think there's in the history of college football been a player who's come in without being a full-time starter and has had that amount of pressure coming from every angle. NFL draft, Heisman favorite, national championship expectations, name on the back of the jersey, uncles, grandfather, all of it. And then he ran up against, by the way, what we've come to realize, we might look back on this Ohio State defense. I'm telling you this, Mench. I'm starting to believe it.
Dude.
As like a generational defense. And it's like, it blows my mind because there's a new defensive coordinator.
Right. Everyone
who hasn't
drafted.
been in this role really. And then 8 guys drafted, and this group is better. More vicious, more violent, more versatile, more multiple.
I think they finally gave up a red zone touchdown today, but they like their red zone defense is just
all of it
silly. Like it does. I don't even understand it.
So he walks in with all of that pressure mounting, and it's too much for any individual. I don't care if you were raised a Manning and you're like born and bred for this. It was too much. And I'm not making any excuses. I don't care. I already told you he sucked against Ohio State. And I'll text his grandfather and we'll talk about it. Like, it's all an open book. The tape is the tape. But when you walk into the shoe in week 1 with all that pressure on you and you go up against that defense, those schemes, it's not going to look pretty. And there's going to be a residual effect. We talked about that. And I told you, I thought it was weird that I would even think this, but was it Sam Houston?
Yep.
Seeing him play with like a little, and it wasn't that play where he's standing over the defender. I don't care if he did it or didn't do it, like just be you. But it was seeing the way after a throw, he was starting to carry himself a little different. It felt like the right people were getting into his head. And I'm starting with Sark. Like, let it go, man. Let it go. Let's just play.
I'll be upfront about that. To me, that felt manufactured. And maybe you need to manufacture it. Maybe you need that spark. So maybe that's what it was. But that felt manufactured. Today did not feel manufactured.
But today, then against Florida, you and I both agreed it was the offensive line. It was the lack of a run
nightmare.
Game. They're not the same without CJ Baxter, right? Yeah. It was all the defense out of nowhere just kind of had a stinker against Lagway in this offense that was like nothing.
Yeah.
So
Dallas wasn't put on a show.
But we both agreed that was his best game so far, including the 2 starts last year. We saw more from I know this. I saw more from Arch against Florida in that loss than I could take away substantially, like with substance, than any of the other starts he's had. Okay. And I saw a guy who's like, this is on me, and I'm glad it's on me, and let's start to go. And he was playing free and all that. So he comes into today, and the numbers aren't outrageous.
Nope.
He didn't put up 350 but he made the key throw. Like that throw rolling to his right, man. 3rd down, backed up in your own end zone, rolling to your right, and making that freaking and placing it perfectly to get that was a field position changing deal. That kind of changed the whole outlook because Oklahoma had played to get them pinned back, and they had him in the right spot, and it was 3rd and 8, and he's backpedaling into, I think he was in his end zone or the shadow of his end zone, and like you got him right where you want him. This is Arch. He's overrated. Played terrible high school ball. Would be nothing without his last name. We're gonna fucking show him right here. We got him.
Not so fast. Yep.
8 for 9 on 3rd downs. He was at that moment. 8 for 9.
Unbelievable.
So it was clutch
21
moments
for 27
when they needed, and he's spreading the ball around. It wasn't just his roommate.
DeAndre Moore started to play a little bit of a role today. Yeah.
DeAndre Moore had some big catches, and Wingo had some big catches. And Endries, the tight end, who's really talented. I like
Endries.
Me too. And so now we got this thing rolling, and it's not beautiful, and they're not. But also, I wanted to let people know that defense is top 10 in the country. I don't care what you say. That Oklahoma?
Defense is
relentless.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not saying Arch is back in the Heisman race because he's not. I'm not saying Arch might be ready by the end of the year for the NFL draft because, my Lord, he is not. And the most important people in his life know he is not. Okay? And I'm not saying Texas is back in the national championship run. Like, I'm not even saying that. Maybe they will be.
Maybe.
I might have them in my top 12 tonight. With 5 other teams, 10 to 12. But I am saying he's starting to play with confidence that you need to play with to be the Texas quarterback, to have this pressure on him. And now if this offensive line, which I thought did a terrific job in the second half, man, and I'm curious to hear what you have to say. I thought this offensive line played like Oklahoma in the second half was the one with the offensive line making mistakes.
Yeah.
Penalties.
Clearly.
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
Texas,
they felt the pressure. Yep.
Whatever clicked. They weren't beautiful. It wasn't like domination, but it was 20-0 in the second half.
Yeah, listen, it's like Oklahoma was the smelling salts for Texas. I mean, they looked more alert today. They all looked more like into it. The energy felt completely different. And very interesting coming into this game that John Mateer is cleared right before the game. And it feels like the Undertaker, we're going to get the Undertaker music coming. And here comes John Mateer running down the tunnel. And he's going to be the story of this game. We'll get into him in a minute. Like that could have easily, overshadowed what happened today. But instead, it seemed like it woke them up. And it was exactly what they needed. And that's awesome to me. And then you look at his game. He's 21 for 27. That's awesome for Arch. That's awesome for any quarterback, but that's awesome. 166 yards. I don't care. I don't care that number's high. And the reason why is now you've learned how you win. Now Arch is learning this is what we need to win. I don't have to throw for 350 yards with this defense. If we have a good run game to complement this passing attack, what I'm doing now, then we know we can beat really good teams this way. And once you have that down, you start to build. Now we can see what we were hoping was going to happen after the Ohio State game and really looked like it was sputtering a little bit. He's now gotten to a point where he's in a good spot, and now they build out from that. And now you're going to see, I think, him really start to grow. And what that looks like at the end of the year, I don't know yet. We'll see. But he's put himself in a good spot with the way he played today.
I totally agree. And I purposely started with Arch because, I honest to God, and I said it on our group chat all week long. I said it to Chris Fowler, who called the friggin' game. I was certain. I didn't even call my source, reach out, because I was so certain a human being doesn't break his thumb. Anyone who's held a football in their hand. Hold on. It's a flat ball, but do you know how much pressure I'm putting on this?
Is that a Brady ball? That's a Brady ball, right?
It's a Brady ball. Yeah, we used to play with it. We had to retire it to the shelf. I've got 4 fingers. No, 3. No, 4. I get 4 fingers here to kind of rest it, and the pressure more is on these 2 fingers, all that. But I only got 1 thumb underneath this thing. And I'm telling you, I didn't think it was humanly possible to fracture a bone in your thumb, whatever bone it was, whatever metacarsal, tarsal, whatever it was.
One of the tarsals, yeah.
And 3 weeks later, you're back playing. And so when the game started, I was like, oh shit. The legend of Mateer grows.
Yeah.
And I've told you about that Texas Tech game when he was at Washington State and they're up by 17 points and he's running down. He's just get out of bounds or slide and he doesn't. He's pushing guys away. A play that I'm sure scouts will talk about. And he's stiff arm and all that stuff. And now he comes and bets on himself 1 year and he goes to the SEC. He sees the schedule and you can see the Disney movie or whatever it is. You can say, no, I'm betting on myself. I'm bringing Buck with me. Arbuckle and I are going down to the SEC. Let's put hey Arbuckle. Let's find the program that needs a quarterback with the toughest schedule out there. Let's go show them we can do this thing. And you come out and you beat Michigan and we're rolling and we're 5-0. But I got injured. But what's the perfect part of this Hollywood story? As the legend of Mateer grows, this gunslinger from Oklahoma now comes up with. I'm ready to go.
Can't miss the Texas game.
I've got 1.5 thumbs, but I'm right. And he goes out there. And then he goes out there in the first drive and he's slinging the ball. And I'm like, okay, fine. And it's like, let's roll. But you know what I didn't think about because I was too busy talking myself into that Venables is a defensive coordinator. Venables has done this before and he's got a history of it. And as a defensive coordinator, you think about what's there. It's Texas's DC thinking. Kwiatkowski, right? What's he thinking? And what does he not want to have to do during Texas OU week of preparation? He doesn't want to prepare for 2 different quarterbacks. So I'm going to get hey, Thamel. Listed as probable. And so I had this all in my mind. There's no way he's playing. Now he's playing. I just didn't spend the time this week to think about the possibility of him playing and then the possibility of him playing. How would this affect his play? And Mateer had Mateer moments, but what Mateer has done over the course of his last 2 years is he's really reduced those moments. He's cut back on the 3 interceptions that he had today. Because we've seen those are in his bag. There's no question. I'm not hiding it. I'm not denying it. I absolutely love John Mateer. And I'm going to have him graded higher than probably most guys in the NFL. I believe in him for all the reasons I'll explain to you that I have to this point, and I'll continue to explain to you leading up to April. I just love him. And I see some of the Baker stuff like, go fuck yourself. I don't care that I'm undersized. I don't care I'm this. I don't care that I'm that. I'm just going to outsling you, and I'll probably get cut from the first team or get traded or shipped out, and I'll go to another team, and I'll bounce around, and I'll find a home, and I'll win. And I kind of just get that vibe. And then I talked to Nagy, and I talked to some people, and they're like, the person, the competitor, all the things match up. And so, I love him. But we saw without the preparation, the practice, and with sitting out for 3 weeks, and in that game, in that moment, against that defense, it's almost like he reverted to the worst version of himself. Because I tried, and I went back, and I tried to look, and I was rewinding. I didn't have the tape. It wasn't out yet. I'll get it tomorrow, but just the TV copy, which gets really mucky when you have the YouTube four screen, multi-screen, and then you got to go to the one, and then you get, anyway. And they just were all on him. And they all three in different ways were bad decisions, and they all three in different ways were bad balls.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, this wasn't the legend that grows. Now what? Because we can sit here and we can talk about OU's defense, and we can break down plays and series and all that stuff. But now what I'm most curious about is, now what?
Yeah, so let me ask you this. Do you think all the picks today were mental more than physical? I mean, I saw a guy who was looking down at his hand. It seemed almost every throw and was, doing the flex. And to me, it looked, the interceptions looked mental to me. And, Fowler made a great point of saying, he hasn't played football in 3 weeks, and this is what that can look like sometimes. And I get all that. I'm actually more concerned going forward about how healthy that hand really is. And I'm not a doctor.
That's
we'll see. What does that look like?
The adrenaline of this game and coming back for this moment.
How does he feel tomorrow morning? Right.
And so what's our plan now? And he's that world-renowned doctor. I don't have it on the tip of my tongue, and I don't have any notes here. Obviously there had to be assurances that you're not going to make it worse by going out and playing. And I don't know anything about this. So I'm sitting here humbly saying, so now what? Because I know that schedule. I know that schedule is brutal. I'll pull it up right now. I know it's brutal. And now are you questioning, not should we have started him? First of all, the medical component, did it get worse? Is it just not ready? All that stuff. Did we bring him back too early? But then you're wondering, okay, is this is the part I really want you to hear me, and everyone in the audience, I really want you to hear, because let's just assume that this doctor, who's the greatest hand surgeon in the world, apparently there's oil money in Oklahoma too, that he wouldn't have cleared him or said, I'm okay with it, and said, John, you've got an NFL career coming up, let's be smart. There probably had to be an assurance of, it may not feel right. You may not be this, and this, but if you're throwing the ball well enough, it's not going to get worse. We put the screws in. It's not so assuming there's no more damage, but it's just there's recovery time, right?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Because I don't have the answer. I'm pretty sure you don't either, but it'll be very interesting to see. How is this the best of Mateer until he can step away from football for 3 months or whatever it is and rest it
I hope not.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do. I mean, I'm fascinated to see how this goes, and we don't have enough information, or I don't have enough information to second guess the decision, but I'm anxious.
I'm not even second guessing the decision, because if anyone read the McShay report. And Tucker, let's throw that up. We got a big week in the McShay report coming up. Mid-season quarterback rankings. This is why I shouldn't be allowed to make my own schedule, because I thought it was a great idea after all these games, and now I'm more confused than I was coming in the week. But I promised it, so we're going to do it on Thursday the 16th. Then the next week, top 32. I feel better about the big board top 32, but these are big. Like, I haven't released the quarterback updated rankings. If you came to our live show in Chicago, I gave you a snippet, but even since then, there have been changes. Thursday, October 22nd, we're doing the big board, and then we're going to do the premium subscriber Q&A. Google the McShay report. Please become a subscriber. There's over 1,000 of you on this call right now. Let's get some of you people on there right now and help support this. But I know I was going somewhere with this. It's getting late. But I just
Mateer.
Yeah,
with Hawkins, you had to play Mateer.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. So I did the whole McShay. That's how we got there. Thank you. You're not the best wingman in the world for nothing. I did the breakdown on Hawkins, and I'm not saying that's why they started Mateer. I'm just saying they were hoping he was further along, and he wasn't. And I just watched him throwing against Kent State, and they blew him out 44-0. And there were so many red flags in that game. I can't imagine of what today would have looked a lot worse with Michael Hawkins Jr.
I understand. Let me counter. I'll counter that. Do you take that loss? And I know it's such a rivalry and it's such a great game. And I love that game. That game is awesome. Do you go in that knowing that you're not in a great position to win that game if it means you're in a better position to win at South Carolina, to win against Ole Miss, to win against Missouri, to win against Alabama? Like, it doesn't get easier from here.
And I'm not sharing medical.
And if he can't go next week, though, Hawkins is playing. So you might have to play Hawkins in some of these games now. Whereas if you had waited,
and they were prepared,
it's all about getting Mateer in as many possible games, right? That's what I'm saying.
There's different elements.
Yeah.
For Mateer's got the toughest job, the toughest part of all of this, and he's the least equipped. And I mean that out of total.
We all are. Yep, we all are.
The competitor is the person who is the least equipped to make a smart decision when it comes to this stuff.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Truly.
100 out of 100.
Always have 100 out of 100, right?
Yes.
And so it comes down to probably a doctor saying, well, you won't make it worse, but I maybe would recommend. Who knows what they said? I don't even like to speculate.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, right. We're falling around.
And then you have everyone. And I don't even think Venables is one of the good guys. Venables would do right by this young man. But
I'm not even questioning that. Yeah.
No. I'm just saying the pressure of, and then if the message to John is you can do it and it won't make you worse, but maybe I'd recommend, like all the fine print. The only message that's going to Venables and Arbuckle and the whole staff is he said it won't get worse. So let's do this thing. Let's do this damn thing. Cause I'm the guy who up 17 points is looking to stiff arm guys 40 yards downfield when everyone else that's sane would just slide and go on to the next play and run the clock out. So that's that. Yeah, Blink 1289. Good to see you tonight. 12689. Good to see you tonight. But I disagree. Venables didn't do right or wrong, but like Venables.
Yeah, when I say that, I want to be clear. I don't think Venables would ever make a decision knowing this is going to risk him for the next 5 games. What I'm saying is when they look back at it, are they going to say, "Oh, we could have handled that better," which everyone will do. Like we should, or if we had done this, maybe we would have been in a better spot. That's what I'm talking about. They did the best with what they had. There's no question in my mind that that's the case. I'm not. If I have all sound critical of Oklahoma or Venables, I apologize. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know that. I do want to mention this real quickly before we go on. Like those Texas DBs today were absolutely awesome. I don't have the final numbers though. Jelani McDonald looked like every single time I looked up, he was making a play. He was all over the field. Malik Muhammad had the 2 interceptions, just showing up in big moments. Michael Taft is the absolute enforcer. Those guys were awesome. And then Ryan Niblett, like that punt return will go down in Texas lore. Like one of the all-time
such a moments. Red River moment.
Right?
Red River moment right there. I saw it. I was like, yes, this is what's great about this game, man.
There's always, like it feels like there's always that moment, right?
Yeah. By the way, Colin Simmons, I felt like he's kind of been quiet. Like, where's
he was a witness protection? I wrote in my note, hey, good to see you out of witness protection.
Yeah. Well, I guess the pressure numbers are good. I haven't seen it. I have not. With this kid, and let's be clear, Colin Simmons, every time you throw on the game, you expect him to be doing
Abdul Carter stuff.
Yeah. Just a bull in a china shop, just
Micah Parsons stuff.
Yes. And today he played like Colin Simmons. That was a
Yes.
Colin Simmons game. It was awesome.
I totally agree. Okay. We got a bunch of other games. We're not going to get to all of them, but I do want to get through a few quick. Like I go back. We talked about Georgia and Auburn. I'm glad we got to that. Alabama, Missouri to me was the third most impactful, third or fourth, whatever it was, game of the day. I feel for Missouri fans because like every time you think you're like, this is the year, this is the team, it's just not quite, right?
Just not quite.
But I want to be honest.
Physical team, man.
But I actually want to be honest. Dating back until you'd have to go back to like Chase Daniel in that kind of era with Pinkel, right?
Yeah.
Where this is the first time since then where I was like, but they're a lot closer.
That's a physical, tough team, man.
Oh.
That is a rugged team. That defensive line, they got some dudes. I mean,
they made Ty Simpson's life miserable today, and Ty Simpson is emerging as one of the top quarterbacks in the entire country. Ty Simpson's doing things, and I'm not talking physically. I'm talking about mentally, timing, reading defenses, negotiating safeties. Like he's doing next level stuff, and it's shocking me week after week. So when I say like they made him grind it out today, that's the best praise I can heap on you, like, cause this guy's just doing it. Like he's on a roll since Florida State. And even in that game, he wasn't bad. And people were like, whoa, since Florida State, like if you go back and watch, like he did a lot and didn't have a lot of help, but there was a lot of stuff in this game.
Let's start with this.
Yes. Mizzou's fake punt that was an absolute screw job.
You thought he got it?
Absolutely. And you know who screwed him? And I can say this because I've been there. I actually climbed a crane. I think it was Georgia, Missouri. I climbed a crane during the reconstruction of the stadium. Scared to death. I can say it because I've been on the field in all the production meetings and all this stuff. Like what really screwed them is they didn't have the technology in that game or the number of cameras. Each game has different number of cameras. And I think you'll notice, like, you're watching something on SEC Network or the ACC Network or ESPN Plus, they're not getting Herbie and Fowler's cameras or even McDonough and McElroy.
Yeah.
And this is a huge game. No question.
Monster game.
8 versus 14. But it was the third crew.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't even because that today, but I'm telling you it was. They didn't have that down the line angle of it, and they needed that. But you could tell if you like common sense told everyone, including the announcers. I forget who they were in that game, including the rules and like everyone agreed he got that first down. But I think it was that was Joe Tess and Jesse, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
But everyone also kind of had to come to the realization like, oh shit, there's not enough to overturn it. But that was a huge play in that game. And the onions
monster play.
The onions there to fake the punt. And then Ty Simpson makes that throw on 4th and 8.
My God.
Did he make that throw?
And by the way, who is this Lottie Brooks out of nowhere? I mean, we got Isaiah Horton, we got Jeremy Bernard, we got Ryan Williams, and all of a sudden this freshman, Lottie Brooks, that was the guy who caught that 4th down catch.
I know.
He had 4 for 58. He had a 29. I guess he's a freshman. I think I've watched a fair amount of Alabama's offense. That receiving core is silly. It is just ridiculous that this kid can show up at the 6th game of the season and start making plays like this.
It's amazing. And it's like the chicken or the egg, right? Like which came first? Is it because Ty's playing at such a high level, or is he elevated because of the? I don't care. I just know Alabama's offense has become like
it's a rocket ship.
Like program, yeah. Like this is like you got to schedule the time. Make sure you're by your TV.
I hope Jam Miller is okay, by the way, because it changed. The game shifted a little bit when he got knocked out of the game too. and I'm
Yes.
so hopefully he's all right because
They
that
thought
running
it
game
was a
is just
shoulder,
different with
right?
him.
Different.
Um,
I thought it was really cool to see. It was that 4th and 8. It was the 4th and goal. There were decisions made. DeBoer used to do this. I think it was with Penix, right? Like DeBoer, when he trusts his guy,
yep, he
end of
trusts
the
him.
end of the world. It's you and me, kid. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And he's now trusting. Those are the moments that you've seen with DeBoer with certain, not with Jalen Milroe.
Yep.
These are moments I trust my guy. I trust my the play calling. I've got was it Ben Grubb, right?
Yep.
We got this thing set up the way we finally want it. And so it's pretty cool to see that. And it's also pretty cool to see Alabama. Prabula played really well, man, until that final drive, and they were desperation and all that. And he had to open receiver, and he made a throw that he'd love to have back.
Regrets,
right, for the
yeah.
interception. But he played pretty well. But you come into that game if you're Alabama and we got to stop Ahmad Hardy. And I did the tape breakdown on him for our new show on Thursdays that I'm pumped about. And Muench named it. Go ahead, Muench, use your name.
The rough draft.
Rough draft on Thursdays. It's our bleep you to first draft and all the other nonsensical shows. I helped build that thing. And I was proud of that thing. Kuiper and I used to do that thing.
Nonsensical is a funny word for it.
On flip phones, and built it into something nice. And now I watch it and I want to throw up. Anyway,
Ahmad Hardy only got 12 carries today.
Thank you for getting us back on track.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Because they bottled him up.
Yeah, they did.
And I was worried when I watched that time. I wasn't worried like I've been worried about some other guys where I don't think this is going to work against top because of the offensive line. I was worried because I noticed in Hardy he's so damn talented, so physical, and runs hard, and patience. But I've told you the one thing, when he's got to change, he doesn't go. And against a fast defense, that becomes a problem. And so the 12 for 52 didn't shock me, but it did still surprise me because I thought that offensive line's good enough that they're going to spring some holes. They just did. There were a couple, but didn't really throughout that game. And so all of it went on Prabula, and Prabula played really well. And Kevin Coleman he went in the witness protection. He only had 1 for 2, 1 catch for 2.
Yeah.
But this freshman, Donovan Olabode.
Olabode, yeah.
Olabode, 3 for 55, but had some big clutch catches. So this Missouri team is good, man. They're top 15. I believe it'll shake out and all that. They'll be top 15. But they're not quite there yet, you know?
No, I agree.
By the way, side note, if you're a Penn State fan and you're watching Prabula play at this level, it wouldn't have changed I'm just saying.
I thought about that, though. I did think about that.
Watching him today against that Alabama defense and making some of the throws that Aller just has never been and probably never will be able to make.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. I don't know. I've got we talked Georgia Auburn. Keldrick Falk is so damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they lost. I'm going through some of my quick jot down notes. A&M with a big win over Florida.
Notre Dame handles business against NC State.
Let me say this about A&M. Sorry.
No, go for it.
You like to get into your teams.
Did you see how hot Marcel Reed was to start that game?
Blazing hot. Did you see how hot? Go ahead.
Legway? Yeah, they were going back and forth early on. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Awesome. And then they both cooled off.
They did. But this is why I trust Texas A&M. I'm still not there yet because Marcel Reed is still developing. But this Texas A&M is a team. Texas A&M doesn't have just one great quarterback or a big receiver or a couple great athletes that they paid for, even when you couldn't pay for players. And we all knew they were. Texas A&M is a team, and it's because of Elko.
Yeah.
Some guys are just program builders, and it's not this kumbaya bullshit, meet by the fire and have bonfires and crackling wood and tell your life's. It's like they know how to run a program.
Right.
And they do it efficiently, and they do get you to band. And you know what gets you to love your brothers more than anything in the world? I think it's winning. And it's also seeing that if one unit's not good, the other one will pick them up. If the passing game isn't good, the running game will pick it up. And Reed was hot early and then cooled down. And Craver and Concepcion had some big plays. And Craver jumped out early. He had like 3 for 55. And it was like, here, let's go. And then he didn't. And then he finished with like 3 for 55 or whatever it was.
Right.
And Concepcion had some more, but no monster games in the passing game. But they ran the ball with a 4-headed monster, and they balanced the thing out. And the defense played well. And the biggest thing is they made adjustments. This is a coaching staff that's making in-game adjustments. Like they completely on both sides of the ball dominated this game against a damn good football team. Florida's a damn good football team from a talent perspective. We saw how good they were against Texas, right? Texas just beat OU, like all of it. 6 degrees of separation.
Right.
Kevin Bacon. And so the stability.
Yeah, well, think about
brought stability to Texas A&M that I can't remember in my lifetime them having.
When Elko made the change,
Slocum, but they weren't that good.
Yeah,
they were good, but they were never that good. This team is a top 5 team in the country.
Wait, you're not a Jimbo guy?
Dennis Rodman.
But when Elko made the quarterback
Rose.
change,
when
Elko made the quarterback change last year, that told me a lot. That this guy was like, I've identified what I need to do, what's best for the team, and I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Mm-hmm. And it was, okay, that's how it's going to get run. It's not going to be this quarterback who had all this buzz about coming in this year and being a high draft pick and all that. And no, I'm going to make the change now. I think that told me a lot about how Elko was going to run the program.
Give me some thoughts on because this is not a perfect time, but we're transitioning towards what we have to do at the end of the show, which is mess around with this top 12 before we let everyone get some sleep before Sunday. Everyone has responsibilities on Sunday. Hopefully you enjoy your families and everything else. I'm going to throw a couple things out at you.
Okay.
Sellers. Everyone wants to know what Match has to say.
Terrible numbers. I was getting in and out of that game. I'm not making excuses for it. We'll see what the tape says. I will tell you that when I did throw that game on, I saw 2 drops. And then also I saw him running for his life almost every time he had the football. And now maybe something's available downfield that we'll see on tape. But it looked to me, and I'm going to be honest about this. I said what was going to be great about this kid was we're going to have a clean evaluation at the end of it because of the level of competition he's going against. And you kind of hinted at it. And I don't believe that anymore because I just don't think the supporting cast is that good. And it's going to be him just trying to push a boulder up a mountain a lot of the time. And I know I'm making excuses for him, but I still feel very high on Sellers until I see the tape that like scares me away. But he had 22 carries for 19 yards. So that tells you something right there. 15 for 27, 124 yards, an interception. I know the numbers look terrible, but what I did see of that game, he was getting almost no help and just shrugging guys off and trying to extend plays and trying to make stuff happen.
On the other side, I will not lie to people and say I watched enough to give a full evaluation, but I've seen enough going back and watching the tape, and we'll get to a lot of it next week with the quarterback updated rankings. Garrett Nussmeier is not 100% healthy. There's not a single person in this world, including Garrett or Garrett's doctor, who could come tell me that he is 100% healthy. He is not the same human being that I saw throwing in Thibodaux, Louisiana this summer, and he's certainly not the same guy I saw throwing last year, and he's grinding through it, and he's the all-time competitor, and it's just how he was wired. It's like it's a life in ball. This young man has had a life in ball with his dad from the NFL quarterback and a quarterback's coach, and now the offensive coordinator of the Saints. It's been a life in ball. And you know what quarterbacks do when they have that in their DNA? They don't say a fucking word about it.
Yeah. He did have a nuss moment tonight. He had a nuss moment where he had this great scramble, and you could just tell he's feeling himself. And then a couple plays later, he threw a red zone pick. And the way he walked off the sideline, he was like, God damn it. You could just see it in his face. Like, just got excited, and he was feeling himself, and he tried to thread one in there.
They're purposely not throwing the ball down the field. And I know that Anderson, right, the top receiver, was out and all that. More importantly, I don't even know if I trust this. I don't know who the technology was, so I'm not going to source anything. But I saw some graphic today, and I thought it was fascinating, but like it's not. I don't put as much stock into arm strength as some people do, but it is what it is. And it said that they have some register of arm strength in college football, or maybe they're doing the NFL now too.
Velocity or something?
I guess it's velocity, and they track everything. I mean, they can track how many steps you took from when you walk out of the locker room till you came back, your heart rate. Like they track everything. You'd be shocked at some of the data that they have on these players at the college level, and then that transfers to the NFL draft and the scouts. It's remarkable. Out of 177 quarterbacks that they've registered in this, and if you're out there and you want to contact us at McShay13, at You Good Mensch on X, I'm McShay. McShay13 on the Instagram. Gram and wherever else. You know how to find me, or jump on this chat with us. I'd love to know more about the technology, and maybe it's something we can talk to you about as we get ready for the NFL draft. But out of 177 quarterbacks in this arm strength measurement that they're doing now, he was 172.
Ooh,
he's not right.
That's not right.
So like again. Then how do we measure that? And I'm not talking about the arm strength. I'm talking about evaluating him in the year that he was supposed to take that next step, and the decision-making, and knowing that he is playing with, it sounds like an oblique or whatever it is. I don't like to, but
yeah,
it's a tricky class. This went from the golden era of college quarterbacks to an absolute
quagmire.
Thank you. It's better words than I would have used.
Someone said we got to talk about USC real quick. I'll say this about USC.
Yep.
Jordan, the running back from USC, went out, and Justice Haynes, the running back from Michigan, went out. And I was like, oh, this is a bummer. Like, these are two great running backs. And then King, what's the last kid's name from USC, comes in and has an absolute day. I just want to say this about USC.
Right? King
Miller. I just want to say this about USC. This was the team I expected to show up in Illinois. And so I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset about it because I thought that they were this team. Then they go to Illinois and lay an egg, and I'm like, well, maybe they're not as good as we thought they are. They are. They just had a bad game.
Well, just ask James Franklin. It's tough to travel.
I was wondering if that was going to come up.
This one felt different.
Oh, they handled them.
Michigan came in with confidence. Michigan's young quarterback had some time to prepare. Michigan as a program felt like it was like they're going to start to surge. I get this feeling about, and Underwood's talented, but like their run game is talented and their defense is talented. USC controlled that game, man.
Absolutely.
And Maeva had his Maeva moment.
He let them back in the game a little bit. If
he let Michigan back in the game.
Yeah.
It was 21-7. They're driving deep in Michigan territory. Terrible decision. Interception. I watched it in real time, and it was like slow motion. I was like, what?
Terrible.
Don't
do it.
And I'm yelling. I got kids sleeping all over in this house. But it was just a young mistake. Okay. But he was playing great otherwise. But this USC team, I'm not saying that USC's Pete Carroll back. I'm not saying bring Will Ferrell and Snoop and everyone down. Let's go. I'm just saying this is the first Lincoln Riley.
Yeah. Little swagger, little juice now.
And they're pulling the guards and tackles, and they're physical up front, and the run game set. Do you know what I mean?
They're awesome running back goes out, and they just don't blink. I
see you. Yeah. USC. Fight on. I see what's going on, and I think they're building something. And this is a big win to do it against a Michigan. Sherrod Moore, offensive line football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The mentality now,
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw something different from USC because I kept waiting for them to and I was like, there we go. Mayava, Lincoln Riley, things are going to start falling apart. Like it feels like now I've seen more of when things aren't going well, Lincoln Riley, than I did with all the winning and the greatness.
It's been a minute, right?
It's not even close because the greatness so far outweighs. But I even heard whoever was covering the game, was that Blackledge? It was my guy.
Yep.
And he was just saying, just like talking to Lincoln, it's like this program hadn't won since Pete. And when I took over Oklahoma, I took over a program that, we kind of we got it right back rolling. We did it in different ways and my offense and all that stuff. But there was a culture of winning in Norman. And that culture in LA had been lost. You know, they were taking away Reggie Bush's Heisman's. They were declaring losses.
Yeah.
It just felt trashed. And so it took them longer than people wanted it to. And I'm not saying that this is going to we'll get the Pete Carroll thing rolling again. I'm just saying it makes sense. A rational human being, and there's not many rational human beings in this whole industry, and understandably so, for the money and the attention and the TV deals and all that. But a rational human being could take a step back and be like, you know what? Lincoln's got a pretty good track record. Private jets were flying in and out of Norman to figure out what he was doing, how he was running that program, what he was doing offensively. There was Baker, and there was Kyler, and there was Caleb. Maybe it just took a little bit of time to undo the ick and get that out
and start rolling.
This in. So here, I don't know. I'm here for it. You know, I'm an LA guy. I love Manhattan Beach. I love Versillo. I love going out. I love our studios out there. I love hanging with Conor and Dan and Tucker. I love all of it. So I want USC to be back. But this is the first time I got a glimpse of they're not back, but they might be heading in the right direction where this thing could, in the next year or so, get to a level where it's they're part of the national picture, big time college football again. You know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, listen, I know you're going to get to the top 12 in a second here, but Jeremy Godden, and I hope I'm saying that right, Jeremy, has an anniversary dinner on the Cape, and he needs a dinner rec from you. Got anything on the Cape?
I mean, yeah.
I'm not kidding. There's a couple guys on the chat right now, or a couple people in the chat right now saying, we got to get Jeremy a recommendation.
We'll go to the Chatham's Bar Inn.
Okay.
And if you don't want to stay,
you got that, Jeremy?
Yeah, it's in Chatham. If you don't want to stay there, go. I think that rest, and then you can go into Chatham, and your lady is gonna love that area. It's quintessential, overlooking the ocean. I know this time of year it gets chilly, but still, they get fires going, and there's the inside bar, and you can cozy up there for 48 hours, even in the dead of winter, and
I like the winter Cape. I like Cape.
I actually do too. I do too. So that's I would say start there, but reach out to me and I'll get you some more specific ones. I don't want to give away all my spots, you know.
You're a perfectionist when it comes
all right,
to
top
that
12.
Stuff.
It's almost 1:10 in the morning.
I know.
Okay. Top 12. Here it was last week. Ohio State 1, Miami 2. Oregon with a loss this week. Ole Miss with a win. Ugly. Kiffin had some awesome quotes. A&M with a win that kind of looked like a struggle, but at the end of the day, you're I maybe respect A&M more than I did. Oklahoma was at number 6, loss. Then the next 7 teams all won in different fashions, but all won.
Right.
The ugliest, quite honestly, of all of them was Tennessee versus Arkansas, but they won. Indiana 7, Alabama 8, Texas Tech 9, Georgia 10, LSU 11, Tennessee 12. Here's how I want to frame this for you, Mitch.
Okay.
I've written down in clusters.
Okay.
You tell me if I'm wrong on the cluster, if there should be a team that doesn't belong in that cluster, and I've got them in 3 clusters.
Okay.
A, if they're wrong inside that cluster, or B, if you have a problem with the order in which I've ranked them. Okay. My first
Go.
cluster, call it a top tier, call it a bucket, whatever you want. 1 through 3 is clear as day to me. Ohio State 1, Miami 2, Indiana 3.
I'm with you. I am actually more. Miami being off this week has me second guessing maybe Indiana being 2. But I thought Miami should be 1 last week.
Oh, you were the Miami King last week.
I
you
hear
were getting
you.
property down South Beach.
I still might. But those are the 3. Whichever way you want to nitpick, you want to argue for one, that's fine. Those are absolutely the 3.
Here are my next 4. This is cluster 2. Cluster 2 has 4. I'm not cemented on this order, but this is kind of my rough draft, and you and I can work through this.
Okay.
Hard to unsee what happened today, but I also know this is a Lane Kiffin team. They're due for this. I hope it doesn't show up in a spot with a team that's capable of actually beating them. But I'm going Ole Miss 4. Texas A&M 5. As I say that, like maybe A&M should be 4.
Okay.
Bama 6. Texas Tech 7. Hey, tell us what you guys think. Joseph Rawling, I see you still out there. Always trade back. You're rocking and rolling as you usually are. Matt Mateus, 5 stars. He's ready. Matt Mateus is ready to say goodnight. He wants us to give the 5 stars and get out of here, but I appreciate the 5 stars. Maybe he's not even a friend of the show yet, and he's just giving 5 stars and doesn't know that that's our goodnight signal. So get involved. TTNC 2015 has got OSU, Miami, Indiana, A&M, Tech, Bama. That's not horrible. So again, I've got Ohio State 1, Miami 2, Indiana 3. Muench is good. Check on it. Then the next 4 are Ole Miss, but I could live with A&M. Ole Miss and A&M have to be the next 2 for me. Then I'm going Bama, even with 1 loss ahead of Texas Tech, because I just am.
Okay.
But I want to also mention, like, I've got great, even Conor texted tonight, like, how good is this Texas Tech team? I said, like, I am a lock with them top 10. Like, I believe they're that talented. They're playing that well as a team. What do you have? Is there a team that doesn't belong in there, different order, or what?
I would go A&M, Bama, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, and I love Lane, but that was concerning for me today. And as much as I like Chambliss, and I do like Chambliss, you're looking at some of these other quarterback situations, and I just like the quarterback situations better there. And I just do. I trust Kiffin's system and all of that stuff, I am really Bama's close, man. Bama's close to being ahead of A&M. Those guys are neck and neck. I just think that A&M's earned it a little bit more because they don't have the 1 loss. But this is a very different Alabama team that we saw against Florida State in the opener.
I agree.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's a good group.
All right, so that gets us to 7, and now it's a total mess.
That gets us to 8, right?
Well, that's the top 7 teams.
Gotcha.
We're in agreement with the 7, slightly maybe shifted order 4 through 7. But now we're at 8. Pick 8. Can't get the draft out of my mind. Now we're at 8. Here are the teams, and I didn't even rank them. And I honestly, games were still going on. So when I typed this out, just quickly jotted it down. Oklahoma is still going to be in there. I'm talking 8 through 12.
Yep.
Oklahoma is still going to be in there. You got a guy coming back with a broken thumb and all of it. Georgia maybe at 8, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Now LSU is right there. What was LSU coming in the week? 9? No, 11?
11.
So this is 8, 9. So do they move up 1 spot because other teams are out?
If you don't think
Oregon's just limping, man.
If you don't think Oregon's at 8, I don't know, man.
I didn't have Oregon here. That's why we do this exercise. I must have cut them out.
Yeah, I think Oregon's 8.
No, Oregon's absolutely 8.
Okay,
absolutely. Good. This is why we do the exercise. So Oregon 8. I would say, honestly, I think Oklahoma's better than Georgia. 9. 10 is Georgia for me. I struggle, honestly, with LSU and Tennessee. They're both like limping and sputtering.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here's where my list gets messed up, because that's 8 is Oregon, 9 is Oklahoma, 10 is Georgia. I get 2 spots left. I still kind of want LSU in there. I still kind of want Tennessee in there. I'm pounding the table. Why not USC?
Well, because Notre Dame is a better team.
Notre Dame has 2 losses. USC has 1.
They lost. Okay. You know what? You're right. You're right. Who did USC lose to? Illinois.
Had to travel. I also want to say this, while not rational, I think somewhere in the 15,
I like USC.
I think somewhere in the 15 range, I want Texas back in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they'll have a chance to get themselves in there, but
but Georgia Tech, you got to kind of have in there. They haven't lost yet.
If I'm being honest about Texas Tech, like 18, about Texas 18, and then they can move their way up from there.
Okay. And Michigan's just out for now. That was a bad loss.
Florida State, 3 in a row, man.
Goodbye.
What happened? See ya.
I mean, we started with firing James Franklin.
Without Haas here, by the
way.
Haas, this was your night, Haas.
Yeah, Haas. Well, maybe because he knew maybe he knew all of his work had come together. He could sit back with a cold one and put his feet up and listen to me fire people. Hey, Muench. Love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
5 stars. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.